Interest in the internet and home computers grows each day. You may think that spells doom for the art of communicating with Morse code, but as news station's Fred Pfeiffer tells us, those skills won't die if one Great Falls family has anything to say about it.
That's right, CQD, the distress call.
Morse code signaled the world the Titanic was in trouble. Today's version of a similar disaster would more than likely be reported by satellite cell telephone. So why would anyone want to still learn this old-fashioned way of communicating by radio waves?
It's another language, but you're speaking English, so it's pretty interesting.
How did you get involved in ham radio and Morse code?
Well, I've always liked electronics, and my dad had his ham license since just after he got out of Korea, the Korean War. And so I got my license back in '72 when I was in the early high school.
Why the intrigue with the CW? Does that?
Oh, the CW? Well, back when I got my ticket, it was required to get a license, but I spent a lot of time on CW, even after I got my higher class licenses allowing code.
Mother and sister were hams too, and that interest is spreading in the Nelson family here.
When Mark and I were dating, he was stationed here, and there was the flood of '75, and he went down and helped in the Red Cross building down here communicating, and I was with him, and I saw that how much it could be used. Well, of course, I couldn't help because I wasn't licensed. So shortly after we were married, I went ahead and got my license.
Why did you go as far as that you did? You went as high as you can go.
You mean my extra class, amateur extra? Well, I had a house full of people who were chasing me, and I figured I better get mine first, or then, don't want that to happen.
Okay. So this has become a family setting around the kitchen table, I guess, or the dining room table in the
Yes, around the kitchen table was with the Morse code. We did the theory study in different settings, but we spent about half an hour to an hour an evening, 4 evenings a week, roughly, preparing them for their Morse code test.
We were in San Antonio at that time, and they had the big floods down there, and so we were both able to go out and help during the emergencies and communicate back because they had no power or phone lines. And we were the only communications a lot of those little communities had to get help at what they needed. And so it was through Mark's, experience, and I knew it was so much a part of his life that if I wanted to be a part of it, I would have to be licensed too to really enjoy it.
Was it fun for you or difficult?
It was fun because I like to learn, and I got a Heathkit course and did the studying myself, and of course he had a lot of friends down there. He was involved in the radio club meeting, our big club down there, and a lot of encouragement. There was a lot of couples who were hams in that club. In fact, probably almost half of them it was couples. So it was very common for everybody, husband and wives, to work together to do stuff as a team.
So the Mark Nelson family gathers around the kitchen table several nights a week and learns to the rhythmic sounds of dits and daws.
I have a hearing problem, so trying to keep the Morse code and learning the sounds of the letters was the hardest part. So
What was the hardest letter for you, do you think?
it would be F and L. Even the two of them mixed up would be the hardest part because they sound so much alike, yet they're very similar, so it was harder to distinguish between the two.
I think doing it as a group and the consistency made it a lot easier. When I was a little girl, I can remember my parents doing, and my grandparents too, talking on ham radio among themselves and even with other friends, and I always wanted to be a ham because they were.
So you got your license so you could communicate with your brothers and sisters and your parents?
And my parents.
Do you have any desire to talk to other people around the world?
I wouldn't mind, but just talking with my family is fine.
Just a way to stay in contact.
I'm kind of shy. I don't like to meet new people.
Okay. Richard, you're 8 years old and you don't have your license yet, but are you working at it?
Mm-hmm. Getting at it.
What do you like about the Morse code? Is it hard for you?
A little bit, but I'm getting at it.
What keeps you practicing?
The computer mainly.
Okay. What about your brothers and sisters? Does that make you want to try a little bit harder to get there?
Yeah, it does.
So what are your plans? If you want to test for your Morse code soon? Do you know when?
No.
The numbers were the hardest part, and the punctuation. I remember hearing him talk to Kappa over the HF radio.
Okay. And what about this hobby intrigues you the most? Do you like being able to talk with your family, or are you kind of interested in talking to people in faraway countries?
Kind of both.
You like to do both, huh? So does that mean that you're going to keep studying the code and try to get a higher license? How high do you want to go?
Extra.
You know, he told us at one time that we couldn't graduate from high school because we homeschool if we didn't have our ham radio licenses. So when we were little, you know, we heard it a lot. I can remember going to sleep at night hearing the radio. I remember being on long trips and hearing the radio in the car, you know. I got mine before they did. They passed the novice theory, but couldn't pass the tech theory. But I did both, and so I had mine before them. And so a lot of times if we would be out, like shopping, or sometimes we would go somewhere and our parents wouldn't necessarily be with us, but we could still communicate with them if we needed to, you know. It was probably more that my parents did it, that they did it, than me. Although some people really enjoy electronics, and so I'm sure that's what some of it was.
How fun is this for you as a father?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You know, when we're out together as a family, which is just about everything we do is that way, why, it's easy to keep in touch with each other. They can go to the fabric store, and the guys can go to the Radio Shack, and everybody knows where everybody is, gets together for what to eat or what have you. And it's nice for hiking and things like that. So,
They all
bicycle riding.
They all have their own walkie-talkies.
They all have their own handy-talkies.
It's great in Walmart, you know.
Well, some of those stores are pretty big.
So the race is on in the Nelson household to see who can catch Dad and become an extra-class ham radio operator the quickest.
We get together with family and his friends in Chicago. They all hams, most of them. So that's just kind of like part of the lifeline when we're there.
When it's code time, is there any whining, or does it?
Oh no, the kids have really enjoyed the code part of it. It's been interesting, and they would, if someone was having trouble with certain letters, then they'd pair up and practice in the afternoons together when we couldn't be here with them, and that we found the computer helped with that. But they would send back and forth to each other.
What's your plan in this? Have you gone as far as you want to go?
No, I always said I was never going to get stuck at Tech Plus, but I haven't, you know, I got my license before I had the kids. Well, after the kids came, it just kind of got put on the shelf until now when they're, and so as they go, we've ordered the General for them. I'm going to try to get my code up so I can, because I've passed the theory, I just have to do the code part for General.
In Great Falls, I'm Fred Pfeiffer for Montana's news station.
By the way, 8-year-old Roger expects to take his Morse code test later this year, and all members of the family have their own ham radios so they can stay in contact with each other no matter wherever they are.